All right, man. It is official, man. Ohio State's punched their ticket to the national championship game. I know some of y'all will not like maybe the result or just how this game went, man. But if you are a true fanatic and a true football fan, you appreciated this game because it was old-fashioned, smash-mouth football. Two very physical, elite defenses going head-to-head. Now, don't be fooled by the score. It was 28-14, but I want y'all to keep in mind, they did have a scoop and score, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So they only scored 21 points. But when you look at this tactically, the strategy on both sides of the ball and how both defenses made this game tough for the offenses, I mean, that's how you do it. This game was 7-0 going deep into the second quarter right before the half, right? Before we seen Texas finally, get on the board and score a touchdown, and then the huge Travion Henderson play. Now, this is the actual play that I'm talking about. Took the screen, they ended up blitzing. Now, to me, obviously, you have three offensive linemen right here that get out on the jailbreak screen. It was about 4 or 5 Texas defenders. You got to blow that play up. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, these are some big boys, and I know that contact hurts. But if you Texas, you should not allow this to happen with, as you guys can see, only about 20-something seconds left in the first half. You got to get all 5 of them in there, crack them, and get to the guy and, not allow him to score. So that was a critical point in the game, but it definitely didn't turn the outcome because, when it comes down to it, Texas forced a 3-and-out or forced a punt, ended up getting the ball back. So that didn't end up determining the game, but it was a big momentum shift. Now, when it comes to Texas, I want to give a lot of, respect and love to their running backs about that part of the game. Again, did not run it well. Same thing. They're going to have to figure that out going into next season. Only 2 yards per carry, 58 yards. Again, a very good defense they went up against. But Jaden Blue is the guy I want to shout out. He had 5 catches in this one, 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was crucial. He cooked Sony Styles on the one play right before the half. They got him that touchdown, and then he did it again when they brought a blitz, just one-on-one coverage, and got the touchdown. Tied the game up at 14-14. So just what you wanted to see in that one. The running backs really stepped up. Matthew Golden was banged up in that one with an ankle injury, but he made some big plays late. In there to kind of help him out. And I thought for the most part, Quinn Ewers managed the game really well. Towards the end, just trying to make a play over the middle of the field. You got one of the best defensive backs in the country in Caleb Downs, and he just made the interception that ended up ending the game officially. That was huge. But I thought, Quinn did what he could with what he had. No running game, non-existent. For the most part, didn't turn over the ball, took what the defense did. Didn't turn over. And he made some miraculous plays, man. When we go and look at the plays falling down, he's about to get sacked by Jack Sawyer, who had a wall of a game. He gets it out quick to Wisner, and Wisner makes a play on the ball. He made several big-time plays in this one, I thought, for the Longhorns. They just could not convert when the defense kept coming up with stop after stop. And that's who gets the game ball in this one for me is the Texas defense. I thought they did all they could in this one. We're going to talk more about it here in a second, but the Texas defense deserves a lot of credit in this game. And speaking of, I know you're going to look and be like, well, they gained over 300-plus yards, close to 400 yards, but the defense is, really kept them in the game. Now, when we look at the offense, right, let's look at this. Emeka Ibuka, who I talked about obviously on the onside, 5 catches, 51 yards, right? Carnell Tate was the best receiver on the field in this one for Ohio State, 7 catches and 87 yards. He was a key crucial point. And that's why I said that Texas defense is so elite because they took away their best player, which is really, you don't even see his name on here, and that's Jeremiah Smith. Now, I had a video, I talked about that earlier, who would win that matchup. I would say it's null and void because Texas did a good job of bracketing him the whole time. Whether there was a corner, they had always a safety over top, whether that was Makuba or they had Taff or whoever it was. Jadae Barrett also had a pretty good game as well in terms of that. Like, Texas had a phenomenal game plan of shutting him down. He had 1 catch for 3 yards. We're talking about one of the best receivers in the country. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of even if he's a true freshman. They completely took him out of the game. They limited Ibuka. Really, like that first possession he went off, after that, it was tough sledding for him. Like I said, the dude that cooked for Ohio State was Carnell Tate, who's a sophomore, a young guy. You know what I'm saying? Their third best receiver cooked. And that was the game plan for Texas. Let's let them over the middle of the field, let them take what they give. And there was really no big-time deep shots in this one from Will Howard. Like, you did not see that. As you can see by his average right here, 8.8 yards per throw. Like, so that goes to tell you right there, like, they really did a good job of taking that kind of stuff away. And I thought that was important. Next up, they defense adjusted, in my humble opinion, for Texas, right? Like, when you break it all down, that first drive, I was like, they might be in trouble when it comes to Ohio State. But they were physical. The defensive line had a really good game, I thought, for the most part. It was controlling the line of scrimmage, you know what I'm saying, getting pressure, on Will Howard, forcing them into mistaking a turnover. Like, they did everything they were supposed to do for the most part to win this game. So to me, it doesn't fall on the defense. I thought they give a valiant effort. Just couldn't make enough plays offensively to make the difference. And then 21-14 down the stretch, you got to find a way to get the ball to your receivers. Obviously, the pressure was a big difference maker, which we'll talk about here in a second. But there you going in to tie the game, man. You got to do what you got to do to try to tie it up, man. But let's talk about the big play. And this dude right here, man, he's a beast. Like, I'm not going to lie. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm going to try to find a way to get this kid. Like, I don't know what his draft projection is going to be, whether it's going to be first round, second round, third round, fourth round. But if you're Cincinnati, like, hey, second round or something like that, for my favorite team, you're like, go get this dude. Like, this dude is a stud. Like, he cooked their offensive line. You know what I'm saying? That scuba score pretty much ended the game, as you guys can see here, as I was referring to a little bit earlier. 21-14, late going in to try to tie up the game. And credit to the Ohio State goal line defense. I don't know what it is, but it is something special. Like, the first play, it gets stuffed. Then they try to do a pitch on the outside. Caleb Downs blows the play up. Everybody else pursues. It gets third and goal. But now it's like from the 7 or 8 yard line. And then obviously he creates pressure on the third down. And then the fourth down, he comes and forces the fumble and the scoop and score against his old roommate. Like, that kid is a stud. And as Coach Ryan, they said in the postgame, like, he cemented himself and his legacy and a legend of the Ohio State Buckeyes program. And he has. He's the next best pass rusher to come out of that program, right? We think of Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Chase Young. He's that next kid stud for them, man. And that is a scary sight. To say the least, man. But magnificent performance and practically ended the game. Two touchdown game at that point, and only 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go for Texas. That's pretty much all she wrote. So shout out to him, man. That defensive pressure was fierce all game long. And they made it really tough for the Longhorns. Last thing I want to point out before I wrap up this vid, I just want to show y'all, like I said, pretty even game. Both defenses cooked 5 for 15, 3 for 10. None of those numbers are good on third down. But the key, 1 for 1 on fourth down for Ohio State, 1 for 3 for Texas. Pretty much the yardage totals were the same, 289 passing, 283. 341, 370, that's not that big of a difference. The difference was the running game. As I said, the Texas struggled only 58 yards compared to 81 in this one. So they struggled in that degree as well. And the time of possession practically the same. So really, like I said, an evenly contested matchup between two really good teams. Ohio State made more plays late in the game compared to Texas, man. And Texas couldn't just make the throws down the field. And couldn't quite make the plays, man. So we'll see what happens next year. Like I said, I think Quinn Ewers will probably end up declaring for the draft. They'll probably have, obviously, Arch Manning, who I know they feel pretty good about. We'll see how they continue to develop in the receivers they got. But they got some guys. Ryan Wingo, he showed some flash in this one. We'll see what happens with Isaiah Bond. Golden looks like a NFL draft pick, in my humble opinion. When he's healthy, he's their best receiver. He got a good defensive line. Colin Simmons is your best pass rusher. He's a true freshman. He's coming back for 2 more seasons. You'll lose some of these guys. Probably Ja'Day Berry, Makuba. But you got a really good team going forward, man. And you feel good about the defense. It just sharpening up a couple things if you Texas. And you right in that conversation for potentially winning a title. Nonetheless, this is Ohio State's night, man. So give credit to Ohio State and the Buckeyes, man. As I predicted, they ended up winning, man. Gave us a really good contest. I won't say it was as good as the one yesterday with Notre Dame and Penn State, but it was a defensive battle all the way up to the end, man. And you see 2 heavyweight titans, powerhouses, teams that have, I think they tied top 4 all-time in victories, go head-to-head, man. And just what you wanted to see, man. And credit Texas for taking this guy away, who was a big storyline going into the game. He only had a catch in 3 yards. That's an elite defensive effort. I don't know if that'll be the same against Notre Dame, who's also an elite defense. But if you're Ohio State, you do feel good because you win against one and you're able to come out on top. And you got different things that you can kind of peel away for that, man. But shout out to Texas, man. You wish you could have came out with a victory. A couple things there when Will Howard's throwing in them tight windows, man. Got to come away with more interceptions. But overall, a great game, too. Like I said, elite programs going head-to-head, man. So that's my reaction. Can't wait for the Natty. Definitely some great playoff action, man. And I think the committee, they got it right in terms of just the 12-team playoff. I'm not saying everybody that was in, but I'm just saying, these electric matchups down the stretch. And this is what we wanted to see. Not a 14 playoff, always blowouts. You know what I'm saying? Actually seeing some really good semifinal, quarterfinal matchups. And I think they've nailed that. And I think it's going to only help the sport, going forward and getting more people in tuned in, man. So I've always loved college football. I'm more into it now, man. And it's been a great season. Can't wait for the Natty in a week and some change from now. And 2 phenomenal teams going head-to-head, man. But comment below, man. What's your thoughts on Ohio State beating Texas? And Texas, Longhorn fans, how y'all feel?